Welcome back to the Story Weaver After Dark, my nostalgia seekers, where Christmas memories mix with dim lighting, questionable life choices, and VHS tapes that smell vaguely of basement. Sorry for my absence on Saturday. I unfortunately had a medical issue I'm dealing with and had to take a week off. So I was unable to edit and make the video. But I'm back and we've got a doozy of a list. Tonight, we brave the decade that almost sent me spiraling into holiday madness. The decade of grunge, Beanie Babies, the beginning of reality TV, platform shoes, and the rise of Nickelodeon. I'm not kidding when I say the 1990s almost broke me. Do you know how many animated Christmas specials the 90s produced? Easily over 100. Yes, 100. A lot were great, but quite a few were that horrible rushed animation the 90s is known for that was found in the clearance bins at a lot of the discount stores. Think all of those horrible Disney knockoff videos that tried to fool unknowing grandparents into believing they'd found the latest Disney release for super cheap, with names like The King Lion, The Beauty That Sleeps, or The Mermaid That's Small. Just utter garbage. I probably could have made a dozen full episodes on the 90s alone. Instead, I crammed all that glitter-covered chaos into one countdown of my personal top 25 favorites. The ones that aired on repeat, the ones that made me cry, the ones that kind of confused me, and the ones that somehow survived the direct-to-VHS avalanche of the era. As always, a few quick rules for the decade countdown videos. These lists are my opinion, shaped by reruns, nostalgia, and whatever VHS tapes my mom found in the clearance bin at Kmart in 1997. Only cartoons. No puppets, no stop motion, no Rankin Bass. They're getting their own episode later. Christmas specials. Not standard episodes unless they were marketed or released as specials. Ready? Grab your Surge soda, adjust the tracking on your mental VCR, and pray you rewound that tape before returning it to Blockbuster. This is the Top 25 Cartoon Christmas Specials of the 1990s. Number 25, The Tangerine Bear from 1999. We open with a gentle late 90s tearjerker. The Tangerine Bear tells the story of Tangy, a teddy bear with his smile accidentally sewn upside down, giving him a permanent frown. Because of this defect, he gets left behind in a department store as all the smiling perfect bears are bought and carried off to happy homes. Eventually, Tangy ends up in a dusty secondhand shop full of misfit toys. But here, he's finally treated with kindness. Instead of judging him, the toys welcome him like family. Slowly, Tangy learns he doesn't need a smile to be loved. The special is dripping with late 90s heart. Warm lighting, soft lines, and a calm narration that feels like being read to by someone wearing a cable knit sweater. Jonathan Taylor Thomas voices Tangy, bringing surprising emotional depth. Fun fact, executive producer Mike Race from The Simpsons specifically wanted to make a holiday special about imperfect toys who belong together. And speaking of emotional damage caused by toys, brace yourself. Because our next rabbit learns the hard way that sometimes Christmas isn't about getting everything on your list. Faster than a kid sprinting down a Toys R Us aisle in 1995, let's hop into our next special. Number 24, PJ's Unfunny Bunny Christmas from 1995. Meet PJ Funny Bunny, a little bunny whose entire Christmas hinges on getting the brand new, obnoxiously hyped Super Blaster toy. When he doesn't get it, the world ends. Or at least PJ is pretty sure it does. Cue the dramatic flopping, the sulking, the Christmas is ruined forever theatrics. That night he has a dream where Santa gently but firmly tells him, "You don't understand Christmas at all." Which, honestly, mood. The next day, PJ meets Kurt, a small lonely boy with no family to spend the holiday with. PJ, still sulking over the Super Blaster, slowly realizes Kurt's Christmas looks nothing like his own. And instead of wallowing, he decides to quietly make Kurt's day magical, decorating his little tree, bringing him gifts, and giving him the one thing he needs most: company. In helping Kurt, PJ discovers something genuinely heartfelt. Christmas magic isn't found in presents, it's found in giving. Fun fact, this special aired only a handful of times and became a lost holiday memory for many 90s kids. And while PJ is out here discovering the true meaning of Christmas, our next cast of characters is discovering that vegetables can talk. and sing, and host entire Christmas broadcasts. Because nothing says 90s nostalgia like moral lessons delivered by a tomato and a cucumber. Grab your VeggieTales because we're rolling into number 23, VeggieTales Christmas Spectacular from 1998. If you grew up anywhere near a church library in the 90s, you saw this VHS. Probably more than once, possibly against your will. This special is framed like a big holiday broadcast starring Bob the Tomato, Larry the Cucumber, and various other produce having seasonal meltdowns as they try to host a smooth Christmas show. Spoiler, nothing goes smoothly. Larry forgets half the script, Bob spends most of the special fighting off an aneurysm, and the backstage chaos rivals a live SNL taping but with more lettuce. Throughout the special, we get many stories about generosity, kindness, and holiday spirit, all delivered with a perfect blend of slapstick comedy and heart. The CGI is kind of primitive by today's standards, but was shockingly impressive for a small team of animators working in a literal basement. Fun fact, this special is what officially launched VeggieTales into nationwide popularity, selling over 1 million VHS copies. And while our talking vegetables are trying desperately not to roll off the counter, we're about to roll into the world of Pikachu, where Christmas decorations, snow, and adorable troublemaking are basically Olympic sports. Faster than a Pokeball snapping shut, let's spark into number 22, Pikachu's Winter Vacation from 1998. Imagine the Pokemon cast unsupervised during the holidays. Now imagine everything going exactly as wrong as you'd expect. This collection of shorts follows Pikachu, Togepi, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Psyduck, Meowth, and the gang as they try to understand human holiday traditions, with varying levels of success. Pikachu tries to decorate a Christmas tree, Togepi gleefully toddles into chaos like a tiny festive tornado, Squirtle slips on ice, Meowth plots to steal leftovers. There's no overarching plot, just a string of adorable antics wrapped in snowy pastel backgrounds. It feels like a warm hug in VHS form. Fun fact, these shorts originally appeared as bonus features on Japanese Pokemon Laserdiscs and were never meant to be widely released. And while Pikachu's out here committing accidental holiday electrocution, our next special slows things down with soft storybook vibes, heavenly choirs, and a little angel who proves that simplicity, not perfection, is what makes a gift divine. Float with me into number 21, The Littlest Angel from 1997. This gentle adaptation tells the story of a young boy who arrives in heaven and struggles to fit in. He can't fly gracefully, he can't sing on pitch, he trips over clouds, he drops halos, he is quite literally the least angelic angel in the building. But when it comes time for the angels to present gifts for the Christ child, the littlest angel panics. He has nothing fancy or holy. Instead, he offers a small box of earthly treasures, a bird's feather, a dog's collar, a favorite stone. These simple objects, given with sincerity, become the most meaningful gift of all. It's sweet, emotional, and visually tender, like a watercolor painting brought to life. Fun fact, this adaptation was narrated by Julie Harris, whose voice added soft gravitas to every scene. But if heavenly peace is a little too calm for you, don't worry, because we're about to crash headfirst into a barnyard of talking animals, emotional gut punches, and one calf with dreams bigger than her pasture. Move on over, because here comes number 20, Annabelle's Wish from 1997. Get your tissues. Annabelle, a newborn calf, is granted the magical ability to speak each Christmas Eve. She dreams of becoming a reindeer, wild, glorious, soaring through the sky with Santa. But her world changes the moment she meets Billy, a mute farm boy who lost his voice in a tragic fire. Annabelle and Billy form an unbreakable bond. She becomes his confidant, his hope, his heart. When Christmas magic returns and Annabelle has the chance to keep her voice forever, she makes a choice so selfless it still hits like a freight train of emotions. She gives up her dream so Billy can get his voice back. The animation is beautiful, the music moving, and the ending unforgettable. Fun fact, country star Randy Travis narrates the special, and yes, his voice makes everything heard more. But before you start ugly crying, let's dry those tears with something a bit more British, and featuring toys who have absolutely had enough. Stomp into the snow with me as we check in on two very forgotten friends. Number 19, The Forgotten Toys from 1995. This British special centers on two abandoned toys, Teddy, a grumpy stuffed bear, and Annie, a cheerful ragdoll. After their child's family moves away and leaves them behind, they embark on a snowy journey to find a new home before Christmas. They wander through icy streets, encounter rude strangers, and face the loneliness of being unwanted. Yet there's humor, heart, and that warm British storytelling charm that makes you want to drink hot tea while crying quietly into a shortbread cookie. The animation feels cozy and storybook-like, filled with gentle colors and charming line work. Fun fact, the special was so popular it launched a full animated series. But enough gentle British melancholy. It's time to switch gears to the world's most famous blockhead, who's about to remind us that even when everything goes wrong, you can count on Charlie Brown to go wronger. Grab your tiny trees because we're heading into number 18. It's Christmas Time Again, Charlie Brown from 1992. This underrated Peanut special plays like flipping through Schultz's comic strips. Every gag, every scene, and every emotional beat feels lifted straight from the newspaper. Charlie Brown tries selling wreaths door to door to earn Christmas money. Sally attempts to memorize her holiday play lines but gets distracted by literally everything. Peppermint Patty misinterprets book report in ways only she can. Lucy gives unsolicited advice even when no one asked. Linus tries to hold the holiday together with wisdom beyond his years. It's warm, witty, and nostalgic. Classic Peanuts energy. Fun fact, most of the script is adapted directly from Schultz's original strips. And while Charlie Brown is eternally struggling, our next entry is about a girl who feels just as overlooked. Except her situation gets so dramatic it involves sleds, angels, and a full family search party. Let's slide into number 17, For Better or For Worse, A Christmas Angel, from 1998. This adaptation of Lynn Johnston's comic strip focuses on Elizabeth Patterson, the middle child, the overlooked one, the kid who often goes unnoticed in the background. She loves her family, but sometimes she feels like she's fading into the wallpaper. One afternoon, after getting in trouble multiple times, yet still somehow feeling invisible, Elizabeth goes sledding alone. She gets hurt, stranded in the cold woods. Meanwhile, her family realizes she never came home and panic hits instantly. The frantic search becomes the emotional core of the special. Elizabeth finds a cabin in the woods that, unbeknownst to her, is occupied by an angel, who comforts her, keeps her warm, and reassures her that she is deeply loved. The angel helps her find her way home. And when her family finally gets back to find her there, the relief is overwhelming and Elizabeth finally feels seen. It's tender, emotional, and beautifully faithful to the comic. Fun fact, Johnston personally supervised the animation to preserve the strip's emotional authenticity. But if you think one toy-inspired miracle is enough for this countdown, think again. Because our next special features a teddy bear so determined to deliver a Christmas wish that he's basically doing Santa's job for him. Prepare your heartstrings for number 16, The Teddy Bear's Christmas from 1992. This sweet storybook-like special follows a little girl who writes a heartfelt letter to Santa asking only for a teddy bear. But before her family can mail it, the dog eats the letter. One of her teddy bears sees her sadness and decides to fix it. So he sneaks out into the snowy night and begins a full-on holiday quest, trekking through drifts, climbing rooftops, and dodging dangers, all to deliver her wish himself. It's charming, warm, and feels like a bedtime story come alive. Fun fact, the designs for the teddy bears used in the movie were heavily inspired by antique Victorian teddy bears. And from one teddy bear learning the magic of Christmas, to an entire town learning it by accident, thanks to one extremely spoiled little boy and the world's longest gift list. Buckle up for holiday chaos as we drop into number 15, The Town Santa Forgot from 1993. Based on a poem and narrated by Dick Van Dyke, this special introduces Jeremy Creek, a brat so spoiled he makes Veruca Salt look humble. He writes the longest Christmas list ever recorded. Santa, assuming the list is from a whole town of kids, delivers every toy imaginable. The catch: Jeremy wakes up to nothing, and the town wakes up to everything. Seeing the joy he accidentally created, Jeremy transforms from spoiled terror to compassionate giver, proving even that the most chaotic 90s child could have a redemption arc. Fun fact: the Cartoon Network played the special constantly during the holidays, so that's probably where you remember it from. And speaking of chaotic children with questionable behavior, it's time to roll straight into a prehistoric holiday tale featuring Fred Flintstone, dramatic rehearsals, and one kid named Stoney who nearly derails Christmas. Welcome to Bedrock, because here comes number 14, A Flintstones Family Christmas from 1993, and A Flintstones Christmas Carol from 1994. Two Bedrock specials, one entry, both loads of fun. A Flintstones Family Christmas is about Fred and Wilma taking in a foster child named Stoney, whose rebellious attitude causes plenty of problems. Through holiday mishaps, heartfelt moments, and classic Flintstones humor, Stoney learns what it means to be part of a family. In A Flintstones Christmas Carol, Fred is cast as Scrooge in the town Christmas play, and in perfect Fred fashion, he lets the role consume him. He becomes cranky, self-centered, and insufferable until he finally snaps out of it. Both specials feature polished animation and that classic Hanna-Barbera charm. Fun fact: A Flintstones Christmas Carol boasts some of the best animation in the entire franchise. But if you think Bedrock is chaotic, wait until you see Acme Acres have a full existential meltdown, because Buster Bunny is about to learn what life would be like if he'd never hopped onto the screen at all. Time to tumble into number 13, It's a Wonderful Tiny Toons Christmas Special from 1992. This parody of It's a Wonderful Life sees Buster Bunny feeling overshadowed and unappreciated. Montana Max hijacks the holiday show, Buster's confidence plummets, and he contemplates leaving the series entirely. Cue a guardian angel who shows him what Acme Acres would be without him. And spoiler, it's a nightmare. The special is fast, packed with references, and dripping with 90s wit. Fun fact: this special spoofed the 90s talk show trend before it was overdone. But before Acme Acres collapses into chaos, let's tighten our trench coats and turn up our gadgets, because the next special proves that even Santa's workshop isn't safe from a mad scientist with a metal hand. Clank your way into number 12, Inspector Gadget Saves Christmas from 1992. Dr. Claw takes over the North Pole, replacing Santa's hardworking elves with evil gadget clones designed to ruin Christmas. Penny and Brain must swoop in to save the day because Gadget, well, is Gadget, which means he nearly ruins everything while trying to help. The special is colorful, chaotic, and filled with charming go-go gadget nostalgia. Fun fact: this was one of the first post-series gadget projects ever made. But just when you thought Christmas couldn't get more unhinged, here comes a dog who believes she's a reindeer. And honestly, she's not wrong. Slip into your festive antlers, because we're diving into number 11, Olive the Other Reindeer from 1999. Olive, a dog with unwavering optimism, mishears a radio broadcast and believes Santa needs her to help as the other reindeer. She embarks on a quirky adventure to the North Pole, meeting eccentric characters and overcoming obstacles with charm. Drew Barrymore voices Olive, giving the character warmth and heart. The special's distinctive animation style, flat, stylized, and whimsical, helps it stand out. Fun fact: this special was created by the brother of Matt Groening, who created The Simpsons, and the special became a surprise cult hit. And speaking of cult hits, it's time for a Christmas special that's equal parts surreal, chaotic, and deeply educational on why you can't force holiday cheer out of dairy products. Let's roll into number 10, Rocko's Modern Christmas. You Can't Squeeze Cheer from a Cheese Log from 1994. Rocko invites his new neighbors, who happen to be elves, to celebrate Christmas. But O-Town reacts terribly, fueled by rumor, gossip, and holiday hysteria. Rocko attempts to bring peace, but finds himself caught between hostile neighbors and stressed out elves. Eventually, holiday cheer prevails. after some uncomfortable truth-telling and lots of 90s absurdity. Fun fact, this was Nickelodeon's first ever Christmas special. But if O-Town's holiday panic wasn't enough, let's flip open Doug's journal and doodle our way into a pair of specials full of misunderstandings, heartfelt confessions, and more holiday anxiety than a middle school Secret Santa. Scribble along as we dive into Number 9, Doug's Christmas Story and Doug's Secret Christmas from 1993 to 1996. Two Doug holiday specials, each packed with relatable 90s kid drama. Doug's Christmas Story centers around Pork Chop being accused of attacking a girl at the lake everyone uses for ice skating. Shocked that everyone has turned against his beloved dog and friend, Doug must clear Pork Chop's name while dealing with holiday stress, misunderstandings, and the eternal struggle of being the only responsible person in Bluffington. Doug's Secret Christmas tells the story of Doug being upset because, due to a new baby on the way, his family is too busy to have a traditional holiday. Doug decides to have his own secret Christmas in his room with Pork Chop when he discovers he's been left home alone because his mother has gone into labor. It reminds us of the moral that holidays are more about being with the people you love, not just the traditions. These specials highlight family, forgiveness, and ushering in a baby sister named Dirtbike. Classic Doug vibes. Fun fact, Nickelodeon reran these constantly during holiday blocks, so you've probably seen it a time or two if you were a Nickelodeon kid. And speaking of friendship, loyalty, and emotional devastation, let's talk about a mouse and a genius whose Christmas plan includes global domination and one of the most heartbreaking letters ever written to Santa. Buckle up because it's time for Number 8, Pinky and the Brain Christmas from 1995. This Emmy-winning special sees Brain create a holiday toy that secretly broadcasts a mind control message to help him take over the world. Pinky, however, writes Santa a heartfelt letter wishing only for Brain's happiness. When Brain reads the letter, he hesitates, proving that beneath all the world domination schemes, there's a beating heart. It's one of the most touching moments in 90s animation. Fun fact, this special won an Emmy Award for Outstanding Animated Program. But if you think that letter hit hard, prepare for a musical madcap adventure starring the Warner siblings, complete with singing, snowstorms, and some of the most chaotic tax policies you've ever seen in a holiday special. Wish upon a star with me as we head into Number 7, Wakko's Wish from 1999. In this feature-length Animaniacs Christmas fantasy, Acme Falls is suffering under absurd taxes and hopelessness. Wakko, trying to save the town, gets involved in a race to wish upon a magical star for help. What follows is a whimsical, emotional adventure full of musical numbers, humor, and genuine heart. Nearly every character from the Animaniacs universe appears, making it a grand finale for the series. Fun fact, this film served as the unofficial series finale before the reboot. But if you thought that was emotional whiplash, just wait. Because the next special proves that even ghostly interventions can't stop a determined pack of dogs from saving Christmas. Shake off the snow and join me as we leap into Number 6, An All Dogs Christmas Carol from 1998. This canine retelling of the Dickens story features Charlie, Itchy, and Sasha, battling Carface, who plans to hypnotize dogs into stealing from their owners on Christmas. Through supernatural visits and heartfelt lessons, they manage to redeem even the most stubborn pup. With catchy songs, sweet moments, and the signature Don Bluth-inspired style, it's a surprisingly emotional ride. Fun fact, this was the final entry in the All Dogs Go to Heaven franchise. But if musical numbers from dogs weren't enough, let's flap our way into one of the quirkiest and most unexpectedly heartfelt specials of the decade, starring a penguin who wants nothing more than to defy biology. Glide with me into Number 5, Opus and Bill in A Wish for Wings That Work from 1991. Opus the penguin longs to fly like the birds around him. Despite mockery and self-doubt, he dreams of wings that work. When Santa's sleigh crashes, Opus finally gets his chance to help save Christmas, proving heroism isn't about ability, but heart. The humor is sharp, the animation vibrant, and the message timeless. Fun fact, creator Berkeley Breathed famously disliked the adaptation, but fans adored it. Speaking of beloved childhood characters, Let's drift into the 100-acre wood where Pooh and his friends are learning valuable lessons about wish lists, friendship, and the limits of Santa's patience. Grab your honey pot as we glide into Number 4, Winnie the Pooh and Christmas 2 from 1991. Christopher Robin helps his friends write a letter to Santa with some, normal to them, requests. But after Christopher Robin sends the letter, Pooh decides to intercept because he forgot to ask Santa for a present himself. After retrieving the letter, he and the other animals become greedy and decide to add more and more requests. After sending the letter again, the wind shifts and it winds up back at Pooh's house. This naturally results in classic Pooh-style chaos. Lost letters, miscommunication, and heartwarming resolutions. Its gentle pacing, warm animation, and timeless charm make it a standout. The moral of the story being Christmas is more about family than gifts. Fun fact, this originally aired during ABC's Magical World of Disney, and was nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Children's Program. But don't get too cozy, because our next entry features one toddler so terrified of Santa that she manages to traumatize an entire group of babies. Grab your Reptar bars, because it's time to crawl into Number 3. Rugrats, The Santa Experience from 1992. Angelica tells the babies horrifying stories about Santa punishing bad kids, effectively launching a full-scale toddler panic attack. Determined to catch Santa in the act to confirm whether he's benevolent or terrifying, the Rugrats set up elaborate traps. Meanwhile, Angelica struggles with guilt after deceiving the twins, Phil and Lil, in a gift of the Magi type way, leading to one of her rare, genuinely sweet moments. It's funny, frantic, and full of early Nickelodeon charm. Fun fact, this special helped cement Rugrats as the network's breakout hit. But if you think toddler chaos is intense, wait until Mickey tries to juggle time loops, holiday disasters, and the world's most emotional gift exchange. Slip into your mouse ears and follow me into Number 2, Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas from 1999. This anthology of 3 stories delivers some of Disney's most heartfelt holiday moments. In Donald Duck, Stuck on Christmas, Huey, Dewey, and Louie relive Christmas repeatedly until they learn the importance of gratitude. In A Very Goofy Christmas, Goofy tries to prove Santa exists to a skeptical Max, resulting in emotional father-son moments. And finally, in Mickey and Minnie, Gift of the Magi, we see a tender retelling of O. Henry's classic, animated with elegance and sincerity. The animation is polished, the music stirring, and the message is timeless. Fun fact, this special kicked off a wave of successful Disney direct-to-video Christmas releases. But now we arrive at the crown jewel. The Christmas special so powerful it still reduces adults to emotional wrecks. Grab your boarding house keys, your green sweater, and your entire tissue supply, because number 1 could only be Number 1, Arnold's Christmas from 1996. This Hey Arnold special remains one of the most emotionally devastating and beautifully written Christmas stories ever animated. Arnold draws Mr. Wynn and the boarding house Secret Santa. When he learns Mr. Wynn was separated from his baby daughter during the Vietnam War, Arnold becomes determined to reunite them. With help from Gerald, the boys track down records, plead with government employees, and chase every lead. Meanwhile, Helga, secretly in love with Arnold of course, sacrifices her entire Christmas wish list and her coveted Nancy Spumoni snow boots to help him complete his mission. The final reunion scene is unforgettable, a Christmas miracle wrapped in hope, pain, and love. Fun fact, this episode is still cited as one of the most important moments in all 90's animation. And that wraps up the top 25 Christmas cartoon specials of the 1990s, the decade that nearly consumed my sanity one VHS tape at a time. Hundreds of specials, dozens of forgotten gems. More holiday chaos than any one human should absorb in a single lifetime. Remember, these are my favorites, shaped by nostalgia, VHS tracking issues, and whatever cable TV decided to rerun endlessly when I was growing up. New episodes drop every Tuesday and Saturday all the way to Christmas. And next time, we're stepping into the 2000s, a decade filled with CGI experiments, direct-to-DVD fever dreams, and more holiday oddities than I thought possible. Until then, stay cozy, Stay curious and remember, the best stories are wrapped in a little mystery and some holiday magic.